Okay, so we are going to do page 2. Like I said, we're going to do this together. Okay, so it says let g of x be the indicated transformation of f of x. And then we're going to be writing that rule together. And remember, what does rule mean? If you're writing the rule for something, what is it? What should your final equation look like? Oh, I just told you. What should the rule look like? It should be an equation, right? So when you're writing the rule for g of x, it's going to be equation, and the proper notation is g of x equals. So that's one of those notation things where we have to make sure we have that correct. So if you even want to like put it right away, if you're somebody that's going to forget to have that proper notation, you can write that down right away. Okay, and then one thing I am going to let you have on the quiz is a formula sheet. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And we're going to use it as we go over the back side of the page. I see lots of smiles, maybe some sighs of relief. So here are the rules for the transformation of linear functions that you are going to have. So you're going to have the translations, but you're going to have to know what this means, okay? So f of x minus h, you're going to have that. For vertical, you have the f of x plus k. You have the reflections for across the x and across the y. And then you have the horizontal stretch and compression, the vertical stretch or compression, and then I even let you have the slope formula. So here's the slope formula, and then here's the form of a linear equation. Okay, so you will get one of those as you're taking your quiz. All right, so for this one, they give you the f of x, so 2/3 x plus 1, and then it is a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So vertical stretch, factor of 2. So the first thing I do is I look up my rule. Okay, vertical stretch I know is a times f of x. Okay, or if I don't know, I just look at my formula sheet, and then I can see a times f of x. My a in this case is 2, so it's 2 times f of x. Now if you're multiplying something by f of x, the substitution you're doing is for f of x. F of x in this problem is 2/3 x plus 1. And if they give this to you as a fraction, I want your final answer has to be a fraction. Okay? Embrace the fractions. So when you're multiplying, we talked about this, you're multiplying the whole number by what part of the fraction? You can tell me.
The upper part.
Yep, the upper part, okay, the top, numerator. So when I distribute, 2 times 2/3 x is going to be 4/3 x. And then 2 times 1 will be 2. So g of x equals 4/3 x plus 2. Okay, so you're substituting in the whole function.
Can you simplify that, right?
Nope, just leave it like that. So leave them as improper fractions whenever possible. Don't simplify to mixed numbers. All right, you guys ready for B? All right, so B is the one where you have to find the equation first. So if it says the linear function defined by the table, you have to find the linear function defined by the table. Then we can do the transformation. Okay, so to find the linear function determined by the table, we just have to find the slope and the y-intercept. So to find the slope, pick 2 points from your table. Remember, the table is x and y. So you can use any 2 points. I just decided to do 2, -1, and 4, 0. You can pick any 2 points. It's just it has to be xy, xy. Okay, and then, like I said, you will have the formula. So 0 minus -1 is really 0 plus 1. 4 minus 2. So 0 plus 1 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 1/2. That's going to be my slope. And then if you're lucky, what can you see in the table? What can you see in the table? Yeah, the y-intercept. Okay, remember that you find the y-intercept by looking for a 0 in which row? The x. It wouldn't make sense if it were the y, because that would mean the y would just be 0. Okay, so this is going to be your y-intercept. So your y-intercept is -2. Okay, so if this is your m, your b is -2. The equation is y equals 1/2 x minus 2. And that is your equation from the table. Okay, what questions do you guys have for me about finding that linear equation? Thumbs up if you're feeling good about finding the linear equation. Some of you are not feeling good about it. Do we have a question on how to find the slope? Speak or forever hold your peace. Yes, Tim. Okay, good question. So if they don't give you the y-intercept, what you would have to do is solve to find it. So in this case, we found the slope already, and what you would do is just pick a point, any point on the table. So let's just say I chose 2, -1, and you would use y equals mxb, and you would solve for b. So you would plug this in for x, this in for y, and then you would solve. So 1/2 times 2, subtract 1 from both sides, and that would be another way to find your b value. Okay, so even if they did give it to you in the table and you didn't recognize it right away, you could still find it. Okay? Okay. Ready for step 2? Ready for that transformation? So it's a horizontal translation, 4 units left. So if it's 4 units left, that means your h value is -4. So this is f of x minus -4, which is going to be f of x plus 4. Now when you substitute that in, it's going to be into this equation. This is now your f of x. So when I do that, I do 1/2, I put parentheses for my x, minus 2, because I know that the x plus 4 has to get substituted in. So that helps me as I'm rewriting the equation. So instead of x, I'm replacing it with x plus 4, and then I just have to simplify. Because you have this 1/2 in front, you can distribute. So 1/2 x plus 2 minus 2. Combine my like terms. So g of x is just going to be 1/2 x. So please check this. This is the one that I saw that most people got wrong. And it wasn't even the first step. A lot of people did the first step correctly. It was substituting in step 2. Okay, so we use check yours. And then do you guys want to ask me some questions about step 2? Yeah, the other? And I am going to post a video too of what we're going over right now, so you guys can look at that as well. Or if you need a minute to process that, that's okay. You can come back to it. All right, let's do part C. So for part C, we have the f of x equals x. That is our function. So notice it changed for every problem. And then we're going to do 2 transformations, and they have to go in order. So this is a vertical translation of up 6 units. So that's what I'm going to do first. So if I know that my vertical translation is f of x plus k, I can do that. If not, you can use your sheet. And then you're plugging in f of x for x, or x for f of x. So just depending on what your f of x is, in this case it was just x, so I'm going to have x plus 6. You could put that in parentheses when you're plugging it in. It's just you don't have anything in front, so you won't have to simplify that part. And then for step 2, it's a horizontal compression by a factor of 3/5. So horizontal compression is f of 1 over bx. Your b is 3/5. Now remember, when you have 1 over b, that means that you're plugging in the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 3/5? 5 over 3. So look and see where this is. This is f of 5/3 x. So we're going to plug that into this equation. So it's going to be x plus 6. You really don't even need the parentheses here. I'm just trying to show you x plus 6. This is your new x. So your g of x is 5/3 x plus 6. All right, what questions do you guys want to ask me on any of those?